What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I'm Coach Ross. It's Coach Ross Football. Back with another video here. In this video, we're talking about the offseason. Unfortunately, we're talking about the offseason. We're talking about how we can get our quarterbacks to get better in the passing game, seeing the field, thinking mentally, uh, going over 5 drills that we can talk about and have your quarterbacks use in the offseason. This channel is dedicated to offensive football, making offensive football the prime focus, mainly through the spread offense, talking about passing game, talking about the running game, talking about blocking schemes and installations and different plays. Try and cover a wide range of things as far as the spread offense is concerned. So if you're trying to become a better offensive coach, check this channel out, give it a look. Also subscribe to the channel if you like it. And also if you like this video, make sure you give this video a like and share out this video too to other coaches, because that's what the main focus of this channel is the dedication to try and provide ideas to coaches who are just looking to gain knowledge, to gain better ideas. And for those, especially for those younger coaches, those newer coaches that are just getting started and are looking for a place to grab a foothold and develop something into their programs, this is the channel for you to start that journey down the spread offense, because it's exactly what I did a long time ago and extremely happy for it. So again, welcome to the channel, and I hope you enjoy this video. Sadly, we are talking about the offseason. Unfortunately, the offseason is already here upon us. It feels just like yesterday we were just doing summer workouts and beating the dog days of summer with the heat and everything. But now the offseason is here, so now it's about evaluation times. Now it's thinking about what steps we need to take to become a better program in the future. So this video is dedicated to 5 drills to help your quarterbacks get better in the offseason, seeing the field, going through the passing game, and just be better, be ready to go come spring practice. So we're going to, like I said, we're going to talk about 5 drills that you can do with your quarterback, have your quarterback do on his own in the offseason to get better in your passing game and become that much better of a quarterback in the future. First drill we want to cover here is progression and quick read drill. So the purpose of this drill that I'm going to go over is obviously to improve the quarterback's ability to quickly progress through reads and identify the open targets on the field. All right, so the way the drill is, you set up stationary or moving targets at different depths. The quarterbacks start with a primary read and quickly progress through their secondary and third options, simulating different coverages as you go along. So very easy to do, and I'm going to show you how it's set up. And the goal of this drill is simply to develop the habit of scanning the field for the quarterback, keeping eyes on defenders while also being aware of the open space. Now, obviously, we talk about open space a lot on this channel. It's very, very paramount, and whether those defenders flow into that open space, quarterback needs to be aware of that. So for the first drill here, the progression and quick. All right, so for the first drill, the quick read and progression drill, try and simulate the game speed as much as possible. Again, you want to set up a series of stationary or moving targets. So in other words, you could put a receiver in the short area, you could put a receiver in the medium area, and then possibly even in the deep third or deep fourth. Basically, what you want to do is you want to keep them, you want to have a receiver in the short, medium, and deep portion. And essentially what you want to do, you want to have different angles. Have the quarterback start off with a particular read, whether it be the 1, 2, or 3. Have him focus on that read. So let's just say that we'll have 3 receivers here. So maybe we'll put 3 receivers here. We'll put a receiver here, here, and here. And this receiver is going to run a real deep corner route, we'll say here. And we're going to have our number 2 kind of run an out route here, kind of short. And this receiver is going to run more of a deep in or dig route coming into that number 2 spot. So have the quarterback give him a primary read when you can switch up the numbers, obviously, to give him used to looking at different parts of the field. But give him a primary read and have him Basically look at each progression, whether you order 1, 2, 3, whether it go 1, 2 to 3 or 1, 2, 3, however you want to order it. Have him look to his reads and go through them all at once. So simulate. You can simulate coverages with this as well. So if you have multiple players here, so you can have kind of some receivers and have some defensive players, you can also simulate coverages as well to kind of take up the space. So whether you have a safety who wants to shift over, are we looking at this space here first? If it's gone, then you come back down to your secondary or your third read. What does a linebacker do? Does he push deep into the field here? Does a corner drop? So you can have and simulate these different coverages and give the quarterback his primary read first. So in other words, where if it's a primary read, he looks here, 1, 2 to 3, or and have it simulated in different areas. So he is looking at different areas of the field and finding out where his open receiver is, um, based on what the defense is doing, where he knows those routes are going to be, and then he can make his decision accordingly. Definitely, obviously, going through the reads, you still want to incorporate the quarterback's footwork. So, um, three-step drops. I still am a big fan of the big first step to gain that space, then two quick little steps, especially if you're getting into some sort of drop back, even out of shotgun. If it's quick game, 1 to 2 steps, but still he's got to be working on his footwork, immediately having his head up, going through his reads, going through his progressions. Um, Again, always focus the quarterback on used to looking at the defense, especially if you have players out here kind of visualizing um, where they are pre-snap. I am still a firm believer of how important a pre-snap look to a quarterback is. It's going to tell, again, in my opinion, 80% of the total picture of what he's going to see post-snap. And so, again, head needs to be up. Maintain focus over the entire field. It has to have smooth footwork going into this. So this is you can incorporate a lot of your quick game. Now, obviously, I have three receivers here. You could shrink it down to where you have two receivers, maybe even a running back. If you don't have enough players to have a defense out there, obviously, maybe you can put cones out there to simulate where typically a player would be in an area. And again, for a particular coverage or a particular look. There's a lot of things you can do with this, but again, it's getting the quarterback repetitions at looking at reads, going through his progressions based on a pre-snap look of the defense.
Second drill we talk about is eyes up target recognition drill. All right, so the purpose of this drill would be to train the quarterback to keep their eyes up, always focus on the field, not just the initial target. So if the initial target is taken away, obviously you're moving on to your second, third, maybe even fourth option, as well as always being aware of pressure as well. But you have to know where your targets are. You have to know where they're going to be. That comes with repetition. Drill. Have the quarterback stand in the pocket with defenders closing in. All right, I'm going to show you how that's done or how we do it. Quarterback must focus on different targets placed around the field. Quarterback must quickly find and focus on the target while maintaining awareness of defenders and potential escape routes. So again, this is creating pocket presence. All right. The faster you can create pocket presence for the quarterback, the more comfortable he's going to be in the pocket throwing, diagnosing a play, diagnosing coverages. So the more you can do this, the more comfortable you can get him in the pocket, especially under pressure, the better it's going to be for everybody. The goal is to develop the quarterback's awareness in the pocket and not to panic with defenders in their field of view and to navigate the pocket to either get a better throwing lane or escape the rush altogether.
Drill here, the eyes up target recognition drill. This is a great drill to train the quarterback to keep their eyes up, always upfield, and try and almost gain a sense of feeling as far as where the rush is coming from and where the rush is, but staying in the pocket as long as possible, possibly even climbing up in the pocket to make a throw, to deliver a throw. What you can do with this type of drill here is these triangles here are supposed to represent different targets you may have around the field. You could even put receivers. They could be stationary. You could have them move into the space as far as running routes if you want to. Um, but a lot of times, what I would like to do here is just have a stationary receiver. Maybe even put different colored cones out there and have the receiver stand next to those. And so what you can do to have a simulated rush, obviously, again, another good example of a drill where the quarterback is working on that footwork, working on the drop, but you can also have him slide to avoid pressure, because you're going to be having guys, if you have coaches that want to come out for this, simulate pressure coming in and trying to collapse the pocket a little bit, whether you have it come all four or five or whatever it might be. Obviously, they're not going to have any offensive lineman in their way, um, but they're going to come slowly with hands up, kind of just trying to get into the quarterback's field of vision. But he needs to have his eyes focused downfield. And the coach, as your coach, you could be standing behind him and say, maybe this is red. This target is red. This is a red cone. You could have a blue, yellow, whatever the colors might be. Okay, then you come over here, maybe a check down to green or whatever it might be, just so the quarterback has the ability to get into his drop. His eyes are focused in downfield, and then his head should be on a swivel, going back and forth, scanning the field. He's got to get in the habit of doing that, so he's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then from there, coach, after the rush gets there, you counted the typical average amount of time it would take for snap to throw. Coach says yellow, and then quarterback hears that, he fires to yellow because he already knows where it is. His head's up, he fires to yellow, or it could be to blue, or wherever it might be. But again, this is not necessarily to work routes. This is more to work getting the quarterback in the habit of keeping his eyes downfield. And you can even have, again, like I said, have him slide in the pocket to avoid a rush from the right, slide to the right to avoid a rush from the left, and then come back and throw, reset his feet. It's about footwork. It's about eyes down the field. So there's a lot that you can cover with this. And this drill is mainly about pocket presence. That is a really, really good drill to have work on, get some reps on in the off season.
Next drill is simply the look-off drill. Purpose is to improve the quarterback's ability to manipulate defenders with their eyes and head. Okay, so the drill is simply set up a DB, safety, corner, linebacker, whatever it might be in zone coverage, and have the quarterback work through their progression before throwing to their primary target. Quarterback must look off the defender to draw the defender away from their intended target. So it helps. The goal of this is to help the quarterback develop the ability to influence defenders with their eyes, allowing their intended target to get over. So, that's obviously just taking care of zone coverage because most of the time, especially the safeties, their eyes are on the quarterback and the quarterback's eyes are going to lead them to the ball. At least that's what they're taught. So if you can teach a quarterback to look away and then come back, you can actually move defenders out of the space you want to throw into.
This is one of my favorite drills here. This is the kind of a look off drill, more of a deception type of drill here for the quarterback here. It's meant, I mean, I used it a lot when with the forwards concept because the forwards is such a big part of my offense that I would love to use this, especially when we saw single high safeties. What could we do with these vertical routes down the seam here? What can we do, especially if we see a single high safety? How can we attack him? So, quarterback essentially would be getting into his drop again. We're into this drop here. We're trying to read that safety right there. What does he do? Does he move to his left or to his right? If we are trying to stretch him horizontally, what can we throw at him to make him wrong, make his decision wrong? So a lot of times what we can do, we can set the strength. We can maybe even put a running back here to really get him commit because now we have three receivers over here. So typically a single high safety may sort of kind of float, I guess you would say, to that more of that strength here when we have three receivers to the side with three potential receivers. Even if we were to motion, whatever it might be, but the quarterback, his eyes are going to be on that safety. And based on what he does, whether he shoots to his left or his right, we throw opposite. All right, so we were trying to look at that. We could even know if, say, if we know we want to come to this receiver here. All right, we will have the quarterback look here to influence this safety to move this way, and then we're throwing back over here to create because that space has been created um, by looking off that safety. So this is one drill that I just like to do here too. Um, we can do this with multiple ways. We can even do this with the corner as well. We can look off the corner. So there are different things to do, but this is one main drill. Is I like to incorporate this with the four vertical concept, especially out of a 2x2 set, because if we see single high safeties, which we do, we see a lot of cover three. So what can we do to influence that safety, especially if we have one of our better playmakers in the slot, which we typically would? Um, we want to try and influence that safety so we can get that ball over the top for a big shot.
Moving pocket and escape drill. I mean, there's almost some for parts of it. It's almost like a glorified scramble drill. Big proponent of the scramble drill because obviously a pocket sometimes breaks down. Quite honestly, it breaks down quite a bit, and the quarterback has to make quick decisions. But the purpose of this drill is to teach the quarterback to maintain field awareness. Again, keeping that awareness. That is a huge proponent to being a successful quarterback while on the move, especially ensuring that they can still make plays when the pocket breaks down. So you can simulate a collapsing pocket with either coaches or teammates applying pressure. The quarterback must escape or move laterally while keeping their eyes downfield. As they move, they should identify open space and potential receivers, making decisions while under pressure. Okay. You can also do a variation of this where you're actually creating a rollout scenario where the pocket is moved intentionally for a specific play. Okay. So if you are one that likes to move the pocket, quarterback throwing on the run to short throws, whether it be a sail kind of concept or a flood concept, and he rolls to that. That's a good variation to have of this. You can simulate the pressure as well. The goal is to improve the quarterback's ability to maintain field vision, adjust to changing conditions, and make accurate throws under pressure.
Next drill I like to do here is basically just moving the pocket or escape drills. So you can do this a couple different ways here. I mean, this is really just a glorified, I guess you would say, scramble drill too, which I think is highly important, especially in the off season. Getting used to because obviously your quarterbacks are never going to have a full-on clean pocket. So one of these things is important. So we are basically trying again to teach the quarterback to maintain field awareness while on the move, ensuring that they can also make plays when the pocket breaks down. So you can do this a couple different ways. I'm just going to show you a real basic way here, where you have linemen, whether you have players that are or coaches that can set up as defensive linemen, set up four, whatever it might be, and you're going to give your receivers, if you have receivers that you can use, basic routes. So maybe we just simply just have a simple little fade out concept here on this right side here. So we're just doing a fade out concept here as well. And so maybe we can simulate some pressure coming this way to where the quarterback needs to roll and then throw on the run. Okay. We could also teach it in a scramble drill type of scenario where a lot of times what we tell the receiver is to, if he sees him rolling out and the quarterback's in trouble, to get vertical with it, him cut to the middle of the field like that. And then the quarterback can throw on the run based on what he sees. A we could simulate, if we're just going to simulate pressure from this side, we can use these other defenders or coaches as defenders here. Like it would be a safety and a linebacker just to create that space, create those windows to where especially the receivers know they can get to, but also to where the quarterback can see space based on where the pocket is moving as well. All we are really trying to do is we are trying to simulate a collapsing pocket, and the quarterback must escape and just move laterally. We're trying to get lateral movement. So obviously you want to work this to both sides, depending on what side the quarterback you really want to work on rolling to his off arm side. That helps a lot because that is a tough throw. Um, and then while keeping their eyes downfield, they have to keep their eyes downfield and be able to move and navigate through the pocket and outside of the pocket and then be able to identify where that open space is, where that open receiver is, whether it be a scramble drill or whether it be a design kind of rollout play. Again, if you've watched some of my previous videos, I'm a big fan of moving the pocket, especially using the sail concept. So this would definitely be one of those things where I would treat this almost as like simulated pressure and also make it almost a simulated play as opposed to just treating it as a scramble drill to where I'm getting reps out of my sail concept because I like to work those little flood concepts while the quarterback is outside the pocket and moving. So this is one of those things where I would like to try and do this. And again, it's basically just simulating game pressure because again, a a defense may send a little bit more pressure to one side. And that quarterback needs to be escaped because, again, he's not going to face a clean pocket the entire time. So he's got to get used to moving laterally. So this is one of those things, especially if you get used to doing it early, it becomes more natural, especially in the summer, and then eventually into the season of your upcoming season in the fall of next year. He's been doing this and he's used to it, so he's able to make more plays on the run, on the move.
Have the high-low progression drill here that develops the quarterback's ability to attack the defense at different levels. So if you one that throws a lot of levels concepts where you're or even flood concepts that still attacks different levels, this is a great drill to use. Set up receivers at varying depths. Quarterback goes through the progression, starting with the short, moving on to the intermediate, and then moving on to the deep route, or vice versa. You can switch it up if your first read you want to be that deep shot, you can just switch it up. Teaches the quarterback to recognize which level of the field is open at any given time. Develop a quarterback's ability to attack multiple levels of the defense to make quick decisions based on the defensive movement. So it's a great drill to have, especially if you throw a lot of levels concepts.
This last drill is just good. And this last drill here, the high low progression drill, great drill if you are a team or has an offense that runs a lot of levels concepts or you try and high low a defender a lot. So a lot of teams who like to run smash, even snag is a good one. Um, and simply just a simple little levels concept, even like a flood concept or a sail concept, all these kind of high low the defense. So getting used to running these types of plays and getting the quarterback used to it, especially early, is going to pay off dividends. You know, when you get into spring install, when you get into summer install, and you're installing these type of plays because it helps. So this one here is to develop the quarterback's ability to attack the defense at different levels. Okay, so obviously you're going to send different levels. So you pick on a player to say you want a high low. Okay, so for example, if we were just running without a third receiver, we're just running a simple little smash concept where he's running a little hook or comeback or hitch, and then you have the corner. Okay, so you could essentially do this with three players. So we are just high low in this corner. What does this corner decide to do? Does he decide to stay with the outside receiver or does he go and drop back into a deep third coverage? And so simply just based on what decision this corner makes, we are then going to the quarterback is then going to base his throw off of that. You add in another player here, and we could essentially just run some sort of levels concept here to where we can throw a vertical route here as well to hold a safety and see if that safety bites. So we could peek here to here. All right. So do we have the shot over the top based on what the safety does? Does that safety shoot over? What does he do? So we could peek the safety, then come back down to the corner, or vice versa. We want to try and hit that shot over the top if we don't like to see what this corner is doing. So there's a couple different things you can do with this. Again, use this for a levels concept, but pick different players. You can pick different players one at a time and run different concepts at them as far as what he may do, what that receiver may do, or what that corner or safety, excuse me, might do. You could even do certain things like, I don't know, you could run a post here and then have him come over on the dig or keep him on a vertical and have a dig here so you can kind of high-low the safety. Does he stay with the vertical or does he drop down and take away the dig? And you could even switch it to where this receiver runs a dig and then he runs a post in behind it. So we could try and take advantage of this safety here. There are so many different ways you can do this, but again, if you are a team that has a lot of kind of levels, concepts, or there are certain um, plays in your playbook to where you are trying to attack the defense at different levels, throwing these little concepts, throwing these little drills here, and using these drills early is a huge advantage, especially because you're going to get your quarterback those valuable reps in the spring, in the off season, in the winter, to where he can start taking advantage of this stuff now, and it's going to pay off again in the summer, in the fall, when you start running things with full team, with full defenses on the field. So it does pay off. It's a great drill to do, especially if you run those kind of those levels concepts and those high low.
Also, if you like the video, make sure you hit that like button. Also, subscribe to the channel. Also, check out this video right here. It's a long conversation with another quarterbacks coach from Mississippi. He talks about all kinds of skills he uses developing his quarterbacks. It's a great watch. So go check it out. Till then, I'll see you in the next video.